Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a viewer-submitted game of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you is a Diamond League match of Terran versus Protoss. Spawning here in the northeast corner of the map and playing with the blue Terran SCVs. We are looking inside of the main base of Last. And actually, Last seems to have a Korean clan tag, which makes me believe that this was played on a Korean server, so I guess that even though these guys are in Diamond League on the Korean server, they probably would be in Master League on NA and Europe, right? I mean, let's be real. The Korean server is a pretty difficult server to play on. Now, his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner. This man is a YouTube favorite, but I've never actually casted a game of him myself. I recently met Florencio at BlizzCon. Now, for those of you that like to watch, for example, Pig on YouTube, he does a lot of live streaming on Twitch as well, or maybe you like to watch some Winter, you are probably very familiar with this man right here. We are looking inside of the main base of Salt Miner. Now, you mentioned at BlizzCon Loco, I'll go ahead and submit some games to you as well. So, my eyes right now are certainly right here on the Protoss player. I have no idea what to expect, but he said that this one is a good one, so I'm excited to figure out what this game is all about. So Florencio, by the way, for those of you unfamiliar, he is a very high-level player who likes to play the stupidest strategies. I know that Pig came up with the best swear word I've ever heard. So Pig calls him, and get this, the sewer mermaid. I think that's the best insult I've ever heard. That is a great insult, the sewer mermaid. It's elegant, it's beautiful, but it's still in a sewer and absolutely disgusting. So I don't really know exactly what to expect right here, but we'll keep an eye on right here on what this Protoss player is going for. So far, nothing all too crazy. There are two gateways, however, so that is a little bit odd. No expansion here yet for either of these two players, and actually, oh my god, please, whoa, 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 whoa! I was just about to shout at this Terran player for not making an orbital command. That's a Proxy Nexus. Now, Last did see this. He did see this. He decides to immediately send the Marine over towards the top left-hand corner, but guess what? You're not going to be able to kill that in time. Proxy Nexus. I've seen this once before, where basically you put the Nexus inside of your opponent's main, and this may have very well been like an original Florencio strategy, okay? I'm not entirely sure. But you put the Nexus inside of your opponent's main base. Yikes. And you then activate a recall. So all structures and units and whatnot in StarCraft spawn with 50 energy. Recall is 50 energy. So I guess, yeah, he's chrono boosting out a couple of adepts. And I think the plan is that as soon as this... Oh, this is even smarter than that. As soon as this Nexus finishes up, he probably wants to recall the adepts from his main base towards the other side of the map. Now, there's a shield battery already coming up here on the low ground. And I actually love this. That is really clever. So Last knows about this one right here in the main base. He's getting himself the defenses that he needs, not really going all too ham on it, because really what are a couple of adepts going to do? Well, it's going to be painful. But I guess with the shield batteries on the low ground, they can actually recharge. So here we go. Recall has been activated. Is he going to pull the probes? No, no probes. So 4 adepts immediately make their way across the map. And you know what? This is actually rather painful. There's really not that many defenses here for Last, who has desperately underprepared for this. He definitely did not expect this. I mean, how many times do you see a Proxy Nexus coming up in your games? Especially when you play a little bit higher up on the ladder, the amount of variety and builds is pretty small. And those adepts, man, they're recharging with those shield batteries on the low ground. This can deal a tremendous amount of damage. Now, there is that Cyclone coming up right now, and Cyclones are massive, right? Like, they're really, really good when it comes to defending. Now, that one probe that built those shield batteries has now made its way towards the top left-hand corner. Not entirely sure what the follow-up now is going to be. Last, though, did decide to go for that command center on the low ground, so he should be okay. He should be all right. But still, he's definitely going to take a lot of losses. So how many workers have gone down so far? 12. So 12 workers have gone down at this point in the game. Now, keep in mind, this is, for all intents and purposes, a one-base push, right? He's still adding on a couple of Stalkers right now as well. And actually, there's already 2 Stalkers on the other side of the map, too. This is going to force a little bit of multitasking here for that Terran player. Oh, and actually, he may be able to now get these adepts towards the low ground. Okay, doesn't catch them, but with that Cyclone now on the low ground, though, I think that these adepts are going to have a pretty easy time. Stalkers likely will be picked off, but still a bunch of these SCVs got killed, and once again, a couple of these Marines also died. Not bad at all, right? The adepts still remain. And so what I was trying to say, right, especially at like higher level, the amount of build variety that you see is pretty small. Dude, these adepts can shoot from the high ground. They can. Oh, man. One of them actually died. So you do need 3 adepts to one-shot those workers. And eventually, it looks like everything will be cleaned up. But that was actually still a very nice bit of aggression. It's just one of those builds that you never really see, right? Okay, so the Stalkers are going to poke away at the SCVs for a little while longer. Eventually, though, I think that this Nexus will fall now. You can manually target fire with shield batteries as well to recharge the shields. Okay, recall will be utilized. He's actually going to recall these Stalkers into the main base. That's pretty brave. Okay, that's a little bit too much, I think. Well, you know what? As soon as these shield batteries run out of energy, I think the Terran army can kill them. But for now, this is still looking all right. This is certainly very, very annoying. And you can see last macro here is absolutely down to, well, I don't want to swear on YouTube and before this YouTube video gets demonetized, right? You guys are probably aware of how strict it is, but yeah, it's pretty awful. It's pretty bad. Let's leave it at that. Okay. Now, in the meantime, that one little probe that made its way towards the top left-hand corner, it built a Nexus. It's got to target fire down a couple of these mules. So here's the grand result, right? Obviously, this Nexus is gonna fall as well. The shield batteries will probably go down, and so will that pylon. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not even a favorable trade. But where the real favorable trade is made is the fact that the Terran player completely forgot how to macro and how to produce stuff while that was going on, right? And obviously, while the macro is not perfect right now, if you look right here in the bottom section of the screen, the amount of resources that are available here for the Terran player, or for the Protoss player rather, it's noticeable that he also has not macroed perfectly, but he's done a better job at that. Plus, he now actually got himself a transition going as well. Terran is likely, and dude, once again, a couple of Stalkers are being an absolute nuisance. Terran is likely, is he gonna continue this? No, come on, that's too much. No way. He's building another Nexus. No, that's never, okay, that's not gonna happen. Okay, that will be cancelled. He wanted to continue onwards with this. I was gonna say he already has a transition in these Stargates. You know what? I'm looking right here at the bottom section. And there's no denying that there's definitely still some room for improvement here as well. This build is disgusting. But there's actually still some room for improvement. And considering this is, I guess, Diamond League on the Korean server, you may very well be able to make these kind of builds work in Master League. So hey, I don't want to, you know, inspire any more cheesy Protoss players, but I'm just saying, okay, I cast a lot of viewer-submitted games, and the vast majority of them, you know, are like, you know, forge openers and like cannon rushes and all that. There's definitely some room for variety there, guys. I'm just saying, if you're gonna submit games, I don't mind this whatsoever. You know what? Look at this. Salt Miner, successfully extracting the salt out of his opponent, decided to now also build a pylon, which once again is not technically a good idea, but it will once again force Last to make choices that he normally never has to make. Did this pay for itself? Probably not. But did it frustrate the hell out of that? Oh, I mean the heck, oh my god. The heck out of the out of the Terran player? Definitely, yes. Definitely. Alright, well, these units have been worth their weight in gold. Let's see what the end result is. Yeah, so this is what the end result actually looks like. Technically speaking, at the highest level of play, I think if you approach like high Master League, these kind of builds probably won't work very well anymore, because, I mean, Terran players at this point are just going to be like, okay, you've actually lost more than I have, so I'm just going to play a macro game and probably win from there. Yeah, no, I do like the fact that this is actually a viable strategy at anywhere below, I would say probably like Master 2, maybe Master 3. I guess you can maybe still pull this kind of thing off in Master 3. But anyways, let's see what the transition looks like. So, I see a bunch of Void Rays, check. I see a Templar Archives right now with Storm, check. And I also see a couple of charge slots ready to go. Now, charge obviously is changing in the very near future. In case you missed the balance update video, I'll go ahead and post a link to it down below in the description of this one. They are genuinely making these zealots very speedy boys, okay? I'm actually really hoping that they go through with that change, because it looks incredible. But here we go, the Void Rays have shown up. This is the first time that Last actually sees this. He has no idea where his opponent is even expended. He has no idea about the fact that there's a base in the top left-hand corner of the map. Once more, a couple of SCVs end up dying, but Stimpack is done, and I think that means that, oh my god, no! Come on, dude, target, oh god, no. I'm pretty sure 2 of these Void Rays were destined to die, but somehow, some way, they all got out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure even how that happened. That's one of those things where you're literally better off not microing and just attack moving. I guess you have to stutter step your Marines, but... Okay, so a Viking is coming out as well. Not entirely sure what that one's gonna do, but I guess it can zone away. In case there would be like a... I don't know. Maybe a War Prism? So I think what Saltminer right now wants to go for, right? I think he probably wants to go for an all-out assault with a bunch of charge slots, Storm in these High Templar, and then a couple of Void Rays as well. It is pretty strong against smaller groups of Terran units, right? So I think against like a big Bio Bull, and this is starting to look pretty scary, that kind of force is very, very potent. Now, one thing that we really need to see added here for last is Medivacs, okay? Like these, every single stim pack right now is basically him killing like 20% of his army, which is not great. So please make some, yeah, okay, he does start up some Medivacs. I thought for a second he wanted to start producing a bunch of Vikings here, which I don't think is a very good choice. I also don't think you actually want to move out though, if I'm being brutally honest with you. He hasn't really done a lot of scouting here, so he probably assumes, yeah, the attack move is set up towards the natural of the Protoss. He probably assumes that that is where the Protoss is expended, but lo and behold, there are two bases in the top left-hand corner of the map. Now, this is still a pretty scary push, though. I mean, Stimpack is here, there's Combat Shield, there is Concussive Shells as well. With Siege Tanks in the right spot, this can deal a lot of damage. It's just that this angle is going to be really, really awkward. Saltminer knows that the Protoss, or the Terran player rather, is somewhere out on this map. He's also figured out that there's no third base anywhere yet. Saltminer right now, though, scanning the natural, scanning the main base, figures out, hey, wait a second, there's a whole lot of nothing over here. That does mean that this main base is very vulnerable. Only one pylon right now powering all of these structures, so that means that a lot of the production will be killed. At the same time, Saltminer right now making, for what seems to be the natural right now of the Terran player. Okay, so the production here has to be on point. Keep in mind, Protoss can recall as long as his Nexus is alive, but actually recall right now is on cooldown. I think he managed to just get maybe like a bunch of his probes out. Yeah, I think he just actually recalled the probes towards the top left-hand corner. So he's abandoning the main base entirely. This is some of the most creative use I've ever seen of mass recall. Or I guess it's called tactical recall these days, as they moved mass recall to the mothership instead. But this is some proper recall shenanigans. He's trying his very best to make his opponent go all over the map. And right now, you know what? This Terran army is stuck on the other side of the map. Most of the probes are still alive. They went somewhere. Terran has absolutely no clue where that army even went. And last, decides to leave the game without a GG. Can't help but notice a couple of storms going down right there on the mineral line as well. I guess that Florencio immediately decided to return to the game to land those storms somewhere. But regardless, that was a pretty sweet game. I like those kind of builds so much, right? So this is really like the reason why I enjoy casting viewer-submitted games so much. These are strategies that are viable up to a certain level in StarCraft 2. They're not going to be viable at the pro level because those guys will just macro pretty much perfectly and they will micro their units pretty much perfectly as well. They will respond pretty much perfectly too, and they have been in these scenarios before, right? However, your regular ladder hero, right, and that includes pretty much all of you and myself as well, we don't really see a Nexus inside of our main base and then know immediately how to respond, right? I can imagine the correct response here for Terran would probably be to still go for the expansion on the low ground, but then start up Cyclones immediately, start up like a bunker or two, and start producing Marines 2 at a time. And I think if you can repair those bunkers, you can probably buy enough time to get like a Cyclone or two. And at that point, you should be able to micro against those adepts pretty smoothly. But I mean, hindsight is 20/20, right? I guess the next time that Saltminer is in a game like this, which will probably be never, he has a much better response. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. And let me know down below as well in the comment section what you think of it. Should I cast more Florencio games? Let me know. Let me know. For now, though, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you once again in the next one.